Good morning. This is pretty much going to finish up the notes for this unit. It starts off with a couple of Regents type questions, so let's take a look at those. Which change in pH represents a 100-fold increase in the concentration of hydronium ions? Remember, hydronium ions are when hydrogen ions combine with water to make this, which is called a hydronium ion. So in other words, pH is going to go down because there's a higher concentration of hydrogen ions. So we're looking at a 100-fold increase in that. Now remember, when you go from one pH to the next, there's a change in 10 times. So if we're increasing concentration of hydronium ions, that means the pH is going down. This means that the pH would be going up, which means also that the hydrogen ion concentration is going down. So they want the concentration of hydrogen ions, hydronium ions, kind of the same thing, to increase by 100. So that means I've got to go 2 pH levels different and become more acidic. So because of that, it's number 4. This would be an increase of 10 times. This one's an increase of 100 times. This is a decrease of 10 times. And then this is a decrease of 100 times. Okay. Which statement correctly describes a solution of a pH of 9? So remember our scale. Scale goes from 0 to 14. 7 is neutral. This is acid. This is base. 9 is a base in here. It has a higher concentration of H3O plus than OH minus. Well, H3O plus is the same thing you can think of as an acid. So it's not acidic, it's basic. So this one's out. It is a higher concentration of OH than H3O plus. So remember, if there are more OH minuses, it's going to be basic. If there are more H pluses, it will be acidic. Remember also that H plus and H3O plus are kind of the same thing. So that's true. It is a higher concentration of OH than an H3O plus and causes litmus to turn blue. Litmus paper turns blue in 9. So I think this is the answer, but let's check the rest. It has a higher concentration of H3O than OH. Nope, that would make it an acid. It has a higher concentration of OH than H3O. True. Causes methyl orange to turn red. No, that actually happens in an acid. So we were right for number 2. Okay, so bases. We can also look at the concentration of OH minus, which is called hydroxide ion in solution. So this is just to give you the idea that when the concentration of hydrogen ions is equal to the concentration of hydroxide ions, that means that there's a pH of 7. But we could also say there's a pOH of 7. So the pOH of a solution is the same way, it's calculated the same way, and it's done the same way. So if the pOH, if this concentration is -6, the pOH would be 6. But what that really means is that the pH is going to be equal to 8, because these two numbers have to equal 14. pH, pOH have to equal 14. So if the pOH is -13, well, the concentration is -13, that's going to be an OH of 13, which means there's a pH of 1. So this is a very strong acid. Okay? So if the pH is 2, then the pOH is going to be 12. All right, so that's bases. And lastly, the pH scale here. pH scale, as you know, probably goes from 0 to 14 from the video. From 0 to 6.99, that indicates that it is an acid. 7.0 is neutral. That means the concentration of H plus is equal to the concentration of OH minus. And from 7.01 to 14, that indicates a base. That means there's greater OH than H plus. This one means there's greater H plus than OH. And the last thing here is neutralization. This is a type of reaction, and it was one of the 5 reactions that we learned about already. So when we have an acid and we combine it with a base, every time we're going to get some sort of salt, and then the H and the OH will combine to form water. Okay, so if we have H2SO4, which is sulfuric acid, and we combined it with something to get calcium sulfate, then I know that it has to have calcium in it, and it also has to have a base, so that's going to be OH. So H2SO4 plus calcium hydroxide yields calcium sulfate and water. So this one is called the salt, and then of course that's water. I'm not going to bother balancing this out. See if you can guess this one. If I add something to lithium hydroxide and get this salt, lithium bromide and water, what do you think the acid is? Because I know this is the base. Well, bromine is missing over here, yes? So it's got to be bromine, and you know that if it's an acid, it's going to have an H in front of it. Okay? So this one actually is balanced. So that's hydrogen bromide, which is the acid, plus lithium hydroxide, which is the base, yields that salt, lithium bromide, and then water. Okay? All right. We'll see you. Look for homework that's going to be posted.